Okay, I have a question. What is the difference between this trade hall building and this trade hall building? I know this one's got villagers in, but ignore the villagers for a second. What is the difference? The key difference between these two? That's right, one looks so amazingly awesome, and the other looks like a mental asylum. It looks like nothing. And we have one of these good buildings, and the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 POW camps are nothing but boring, uninteresting buildings. Boring, uninteresting buildings I would normally be happy with, but like I said last episode, since I built this trade hall here, this trade hall building, and actually tried to make it aesthetically pleasing, or more aesthetically pleasing than I usually manage, I'm actually really pleased with how it turned out, and now I feel like I need to do the same with these. And I feel like I am getting a new appreciation for aesthetics. It's something I normally don't really care about, because I'm always saying normally saying practicality over aesthetics, right? As long as it's practical, who cares what it looks like? That's always been my motto. But I mean, if it's practical, it serves the purpose well, and it looks fucking awesome, then surely the bonus is a win-win. But always I thought, nah, I still don't really care, because I just don't want to put in the effort. That's what it is, it's laziness. But now I'm thinking, actually, it looks so much better, so much nicer when I put it in. And I think if we used to have another 5 of these bad boys, and have bad boy there, and a few bad boys over there, we're going to make one bad family, right, of trade hall buildings. And it's going to be absolutely special, especially because we are going to be using those buildings, and we're going to be transferring all of these guys plus more into those buildings over there where we just were, because we have a load of useful villagers to get. We want to get clerics, we want to get masons, we want to get librarians, we want to get all sorts, and we can't really do that without getting more of these guys into these empty spaces over here. But of course, putting them in these empty spaces and then having to renovate the building to look like this is going to be more of a hassle, I think, if it's full of villagers, because you always have to keep in mind you don't want these guys to escape. You don't want any of them to escape. And at the time when I did this, I had to do one block at a time, place one block and then quickly place another one, especially these top blocks, because they could just jump out and get over the job site blocks, and that's not something that we do. But if this is already empty, then we can just quite happily just dig away around here, make it nice and special. For me, I don't care about the villagers, what they think. I mean, who cares? They're just pawns to be used in this game of chess, right? You know, and a pawn doesn't care what a chessboard looks like, only the player does. So that's what we're doing. Not to mention, I'm actually trying to get away from this style of buildings, because it sort of looks like the Minecraft starter house everyone builds at the start of their playthroughs, or when they first start playing the game. I mean, for me, I still build these buildings on a regular basis, like 2 years into the game. Whereas now I am trying to transform my playstyle into something like this, right? Next time, I'm going to start building better. Or later on in the series, I'm going to start building better. And I'm going to take this world to the next level. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But I think actually, if I want to get better at building, I actually need to start doing it now, right? I need to start trying to look for ways to improve the building. And actually, this right here wasn't that difficult. All I did was put some slabs on the top, put some stair blocks in, use different types of deep slate for the walls, and then just put some wall blocks in front, just to give it a bit more depth, I suppose. And the different types of blocks, look, different types of deep slate blocks here on the floor, included on the inside of the trade hall. And it just adds a bit more texture, a bit more depth to it. I think that's all I really need to do to sort of take a build to, guess, the next level, or the next level for me at this stage. Because at the moment, if I'm building shit like this, just by putting those few extra blocks, and it turns into this, while this might not be as impressive as other people's builds, it's still a massive step up for me. I mean, if that's improving my build for, say, I don't know, like a 200% increase on aesthetics, right, for me, then surely that's a massive improvement, right? Then that's a good thing. That's a really good improvement. And then once I start getting used to doing like builds like this on a more regular basis and adding a bit more texture and depth to it, I can really start improving again. And maybe next time the percentage increase will only be something like a 50% increase, or maybe even smaller than that. Maybe it's like a 20 or 30%, or maybe a 5 or 10%, but it's still an increase, right? And then what happens is that becomes the new norm, and then you start increasing again, and you start getting better once again at building. Like you make improvements on that. It's sort of like engineering, I guess, or any sort of advancement in technology. You build off of what's already there, right? People didn't jump from knives and forks straight into rocket science. I think that's the thing I need to keep in mind here. Also, another thing is not going over the top with things just for the sake of going over the top with things. Well, no, that's not completely true. I like to go over the top with things sometimes because that's what I want to do, but I feel like I shouldn't really go over the top just to impress people watching. I think I should just play the game how I want to play it. It's like, fuck it. You know what? It might not look the best. It might not be super efficient, but I'm having fun. There's a slight ramble, I know. Slight side ramble. However, I do I do appreciate people giving me suggestions in the comments, because there's some really interesting ideas you guys come up with, things I wouldn't have thought about or have even heard of. Like, for instance, there was a guy talking about voidless villager trading, which sounded kind of interesting. I've never heard of that. Then there was people talking about like how I should get moss blocks and then bone meal the moss blocks to turn the deep slate into moss, and then I can just mine it really quickly, because some people were saying actually no, you can't insta mine deep slate on a haste 2 efficiency 5 beacon, which I really, or haste 2 beacon with efficiency 5 pick, which is really disappointing if that is the case. But the moss block is a good solution, and I completely forgot you could use moss for that. I mean, obviously I'd have to go out and find moss from wherever, probably a lush cave I guess, or a wandering trader. That's a question I wanted to ask if anyone is watching at this point. Wandering traders, can they only spawn on the surface, or will they be able to spawn down here? I mean, I haven't seen one yet, and it's day 97 of this world, so my guess is that they won't spawn underground or they won't come down here, but I may be wrong with that. Any clarification would be massively helpful. 100% this is going to take a long time, because I actually have to take out a lot of the trade hall blocks, because I've basically got to replace pretty much all of them. Pretty much all of the blocks you see here I've got to replace with a different deep slate variant blocks. So I've got a lot of mining to do. It's not just a case of just make the trade hall look nicer. I've got to replace basically every block here, which means a shit ton of mining, which means I probably need to get a new pick, which means I'll probably end up having to buy one, although I think I may have 3 or 4 spare picks floating around somewhere, which is something. Yeah, all of these blocks have got to be replaced. I mean, some of them I can hide, like the ones on top of, what is this, chiseled deep slate block, the ones on top of there I'm going to put a stair block on, so I won't actually have to take them out. But the ones where the villagers are going to be standing, you can see the top part or the underside of it, which will be here, these blocks which I've taken out. So if I leave them as tough or deep slate or obsidian in the case of one of the trade hall buildings over there, then it is going to be noticeable. I won't be able to just cover it with stairs, which is what I've done here. Like for these blocks, like for these ones I can definitely cover it with stairs, because I'll show you, once you put a block there you can't see it, and yeah, you can see it from the side, but remember there's going to be like a block there and a block there, so you won't be able to see that block, and you can't see it on the inside because the roof is too low, the ceiling's low. So I can get away with not doing it for all of them, so I only have to take, so I can leave some of the blocks in, but most of them I will have to take out, which is just the nature of the game really. That's just how it is. But again, it goes back to effort, and even though the effort can be time consuming and it can be kind of a pain in the ass, I think once it's done I'm always happy with how it looks. I'm always happy, as if I build aesthetically all the time. I never build aesthetically, very rarely. I think it's going to be worth it. No, it is going to be worth it. And then I can actually start getting villagers in, because we need to, once this trade hall is up and running, it's a big project doing all this trade hall business, but once I've got it up and running, it is going to be an OP area, and we can really take things to the next level, because once I've got the OP gear and stuff, like fully enchanted armor and tools, the game will open up massively. I'll be able to mine quicker, I'll be able to do projects quicker, I'll be able to access more things within the world, and I won't have to worry about dying as much. I'm excited. And obviously the more we can do within this world, the more projects we can take on, and the more projects we can take on, the larger they're probably going to get, and the more in scale they're going to size up, and the more ambitious and I would say epic they're going to become. It's just the nature of it. It's just naturally just natural progression, you know. As I was saying before, I'm not just going to become a good builder overnight. I'm going to just build on it slowly over time. I'm going to try and add some textures and depth to my buildings, and hopefully that will improve, or it will make an improvement on what I usually do. And then next time, or once I've got used to doing that, I can then improve upon it again, and then once I've made that improvement and that becomes a staple of my builds, then I can improve upon it again and again. And it's just the same for the projects we take on in this world in general. The more we do, the more it's going to advance. Like for instance, the trade hall is a great example, a very good example. I mean, we started with what, like 2 villagers for trading, a Fletcher and a farmer. Then we extended it to like 6 villagers, a couple of traders, a shepherd, a couple of traders, a couple of Fletchers, a shepherd, farmer, a toolsmith, and that was basically it. So like 5 villagers, and we got a second toolsmith, didn't we? So like 6 villagers, yeah. And now look, we've got an entire trade hall building with those villagers still in, but now a shit ton of Fletchers, which we can make infinite money on. And we look at this now, all our buildings which we're just slowly renovating and making better, and these are all going to be filled with villagers. And again, that's just a natural progression of how we're going with this series. And then once this is sorted, we'll be able to progress on to something else, or just the cave in general. Like this cave started as just a tiny hole in the ground at the base of that staircase, and we just mined out an area where we could put our furnaces and chests. And we mined out a larger area, like a room. Then we put the breeder in there, and then we put our little small trade hall section here. We went exploring, we found a large cave system up there, we put trees, we planted the trees up here. This area has got still a shit ton of renovating to do. I mean, this whole place, there is so much potential in here, but we've already made improvement by putting logs in it, by putting trees in here so we can access infinite amount of logs. Then we created this room with the string drooper, and obviously the storage system originally sucked. These ones here, I've actually still got string in there, I didn't realise. So yeah, it sucked, but again, then we improved upon that, and now we have this system put in. The string comes down, is funneled off that way, and now we've got a collection system over here, which is completely full. I might need to get more string put in, or more chests, should I say. Yeah, that's a lot of string. And it's the same for these. We're just going to keep naturally progressing, and who knows where this is going. Maybe I'll increase the ceiling height, build more above them, we don't know. I think that's one of the best things about Minecraft. The natural progression of the game, and because it's a sandbox game and the sky is literally the limit, you can do anything, and it just goes as far as your imagination, really. If I'm being honest, if I hadn't have actually done that first trade hall, the renovations for it, which we're talking about that over there, then I probably actually wouldn't be doing this, because I'd be like, well, no, it looks okay. But it's only because I've sort of decided to commit to aesthetics, or not even the aesthetics side, just commit to becoming a better builder, that I'm doing this. And like I said, I think it will pay off, because it will just make our base looking that much nicer. And like I said to you last episode, if you have a nice base, you're probably going to want to spend more time in it, or you just have a nice world, you're going to want to spend more time in that world. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case here. So I'm actually glad that I did that first building, because now there is a stark contrast between those buildings and these newer trade hall buildings. And so I'd always be thinking, damn, the rest of the buildings just look shit compared to the one I first originally did. But after these are done, I won't be able to say that. I'll be saying, fuck yeah, my trade hall looks fucking amazing, or it just looks amazing. It's a good thing that I've been mining so many deep slate blocks really, so I'm sort of happy that I made our world right at the bottom of the cave at -60, or as long as it was in deep slate, because we have collected a lot, and although it's a massive pain to gather, especially with early picks, if you're mining deep slate with anything less than a diamond pick, it's an absolute pain. Even with diamond picks, it's a pain, because of just how slow it is to mine. But because we have so many blocks, we can make huge variety of different blocks. I love the deep slate tiles and the tiled stairs, which is what I'm using now, and I also really like these chiseled blocks as well. And I also like the polished deep slate, I believe this as well. In fact, all deep slate blocks, apart from deep slate itself, I actually really like. I think it's such a good block. And I'm starting to think now maybe I should go with like some sort of theme. Yeah, I put that there. Then when I put the next there. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking I should have some sort of color theme for my base. I'm thinking. Well, I seem to be doing dark for deep slate, so maybe I will have something to go with the deep slate, because deep slate is quite like, it's normally black and dark greys, those sort of color, right? So maybe I should go with red, either red or blue, but obviously I'd need to find blocks that conform with that. At the moment this is fine. I'm just thinking about my color palette, seeing as I'm trying to be a better builder. I should talk about this sort of stuff a bit more. Sort of leaves a weird taste in my mouth if I'm being honest, because I never talk about this sort of stuff. And it makes my head go a bit funny, but I suppose that's the way of the builder, isn't it? Everybody was kung fu building, fast as lightning. I'm gonna take that redstone as well. I'm gonna try and take that redstone. We've actually got, this is gonna be a complete tangent away from Minecraft, but it's just coming to my mind, and I'm gonna talk about it. We've got this baby seagull that seems to come near to our house, and it sort of cries. It makes like this weird squawking sound. It's like a like that sort of sound, and it sort of looks at us, and so what we've got into a habit of doing is just feeding it. And at first it was just like, I'll just give it some food, it's a baby seagull, it doesn't seem to have like any parents around. Giving it some bread, and then what should happen? It appears the next day. And then what should happen? It appears the next day. And now it actually recognizes me. Like if I go into the kitchen, because the back garden is next to the kitchen, it can see me through the kitchen window, and at the bottom of our garden we have a garage, and it would just stand on top of this garage and just look, and it would stand right on the edge. It would just stare at me. And I think, I've got to feed it. So what I do is I go out and feed it, and I go out and it like makes these weird baby squawking sounds. And by the way, for this baby, it's actually huge. It's like a full-size seagull, but it's like got brown feathers because it's just a young seagull, I guess it's gone from baby to a young. Which, another tangent, I looked up how long seagulls live for. They live for like 30, 40 years. And I thought that was crazy. I had no idea they lived for that long. Anyway, so it makes these like cute little baby sounds. So I go out there. The only problem is, as soon as it starts making these cute baby sounds, which it only does once I've got the bread, I'm actually walking outside, like other seagulls seem to have learned what's going on. And I get like flocked by all these other seagulls that like swoop down ready for him. And then obviously he's now got competition, so he should just stay silent. I don't know why he doesn't do. I mean, it's what it is, fighting natural instinct, I guess. So I throw this bread out, and I tell you what, by the time I've got back to the back door and gone back into the house, it's all gone. It's crazy how quickly it goes. They are quick eaters. So I put out a bit more, and it goes again. I put out a bit more, and let me tell you, I have been the cause of a lot of fights. I've had a lot of birds fight over me at the moment. It is crazy. They are really swinging for each other, and this little baby bird I would have thought would have been like at a disadvantage, but I'm telling you, he's actually a lot bigger than I thought. Maybe I shouldn't feel so sorry for him, because he beats up the other birds. I'm telling you, our neighbours hate seagulls, so so they're not happy, but I don't think they know I'm putting out bread. They just seem to complain that, oh, there's a lot of seagulls around here at the moment. And they have no idea it's just because I'm putting out a ton of bread for the seagulls. But there's only this one baby seagull. I'm not putting it out for the other ones, but the other ones just seem to come and flock to it. You know, I get an opportunity, I guess. Okay, so we're not that far away from finishing. As you can see, well, I say they're not that far away from finishing. There's quite a bit of work, but there's not that many things to do before the building is complete. So as you can see, they're mostly done, but the thing I've really got to do that's going to take the most amount of time is taking out all of this flooring. So I'm going to take out all the flooring around here, all of 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 the flooring in the trade halls themselves, and then all of the flooring in between the trade halls. And then after that, I can put in my custom flooring, which is going to consist of deep slate. Let me see, it's going to consist of chiseled deep slate, polished deep slate tiles, and deep slate bricks. And then we're adding the final set, which is the walls in between the job site blocks. Oh, and the crafting tables I need to do. And then once we've done all them, that should be finished for the main. But then we've got to focus on the ceiling, which shouldn't be that hard, because all I've got to do is add slab blocks, but it's different slab blocks. They're tiles and bricks, I believe, something like that. Now, originally I was going to take out all the blocks, but I'm actually going to leave the dripstone blocks, deep slate. I've probably said dripstone quite a few times in this video now I think about it. The deep slate blocks with the torches on, because I can't be bothered to replace them. And you know what, having a custom flooring and having bits of deep slate in there, I don't think is that bad, seeing as I'm going to be using deep slate variant blocks anyway. So I'm thinking I might as well just leave them in. And then mixed in with the bedrock as well, which the one good thing about the bedrock is it's less blocks for me to mine out. There's only a few blocks here and there, but when you put that across the entire area, probably several stacks of blocks, it's saving me having to mine out. So maybe it's actually a good thing I've built it on the bedrock level. But I always do this, I always think, it's only one layer of blocks, it's not going to take that long to mine, but actually I think it probably will take quite a long time because of how slow deep slate is to mine. And I've just read a few comments in my last video that people were saying, yeah, Juice, you can't actually insta mine deep slate with a haste 2 beacon and efficiency 5 pickaxe. And I really hope that's not the case. I really hope you guys are just joking about that. They're saying, like, most of you have said the best way to mine deep slate quickly is just to turn it into moss blocks and then insta mine it that way with a overpowered hoe or something. But really, we can't insta mine deep slate. I think that's Mojang. Come on, efficiency 5 pick with a haste 2 beacon and you can't mine deep slate. What's going on there? This should be, I I personally believe that you should be able to insta mine every single block within the game. Maybe obsidian I will give a pass for, obviously bedrock, but I think every other block is fair game. There should be a way, whether that's a haste 2 beacon, efficiency 5 pick, or efficiency 5 shovel, or efficiency 5 hoe, or whatever the case may be. I think you should be able to insta mine every block. There should be a way to insta mine any block within the game. That's just my personal preference. I mean personal opinion. I really do think that should be the case, because why can you insta mine certain blocks but then not insta mine other blocks? Like, what's the point of being able to insta mine stone, for instance, but you're not able to insta mine cobblestone or insta mine mossy cobblestone? That just doesn't make sense to me. Why is mossy cobblestone or cobblestone not insta mineable, but stone is insta mineable? Is it harder? I don't think so. No, it's still a stone related block. You can insta mine granite, you can insta mine diorite, you can insta mine all these other stone related blocks, but you can't insta mine cobblestone. I just don't understand. And it's the same, I guess, for deep slate. If what you guys have telling me that you can't insta mine deep slate, like, what's the issue with that? I don't understand. Okay, and also another exception, ore blocks. I can understand not being able to insta mine ore blocks as well, but I do think basically every other block, if it's not an ore block, if it's not bedrock, and it's not obsidian, I think you should be able to insta mine it somehow. There should be a method within the game. What's What's the point of these incredible enchants and haste 2 beacon if you can't even insta-mine a bit of cobblestone and deep slate, right? What, it makes moss redundant? Is that it? I'm hoping that will be fixed in the future. I also read another comment that someone had said you can't trade for the first trade with librarians for enchanted books anymore because Mojang have updated it, so it's the second trade for enchantments. I really hope that's not the case. But I haven't actually updated Minecraft past 1.20 yet, or 1.20.1, because that's the version of Optifine I've got. So I normally update Minecraft once a new version of Optifine has come out, simply because now that I've tasted the good life, you know, now that I can zoom in like this, it really does make a big difference. And I can hold torches and it lights up the space as I go with it. Honestly, those two quality of life features, I don't want to go back to just regular vanilla without that. So I always sort of wait until the next Optifine has come out before I update. But if that is the case, that librarians don't offer enchantments on their first trade, but instead you have to level them up to their second trade, which is going to be, that's going to be annoying, because that's going to mean a lot of villager killing. It's going to mean a lot of villagers I don't like. It's going to be, I feel like it's going to be a pain. So in order to prevent that, I will get our librarians before I ever update Minecraft, and then after that it doesn't really matter unless there's some other updates that are going to make our life harder. Okay, well that's the floor taken out now, and there was a lot more bedrock than I thought. I mean, look at all it, it's everywhere. It's the one we've completed. And then inside here, there's loads in there, all down the side, there's loads there, there's loads, this is just everywhere. I didn't realize how much of the stuff there was until now I've uncovered it. Like in this, when you look at it here, it doesn't look so much, but actually it's all over the place, which again is just going to add to the flooring. And you can see my deep slate path here is probably going to blend in now, because I'm going to start putting in the custom deep slate blocks. Also, we come over here, you'll be able to see I added some more chests to the storage because it filled up very quickly. As you can see, it went a bit pear-shaped here because there was actually bedrock underneath there. You might be able to just about see, there's bedrock under there, so I can't actually put 2 more chests here and hoppers like back there, which is unfortunate. And then this one, I couldn't do anything about it, unfortunately. I couldn't put it behind either because there's bedrock back there, but it's still, we've added like another 10 chests worth of, you know, storage, and I believe, yeah, all completely, every single one of them got hoppers, every single one of them. So yeah, that's something we're gonna have to get through at some point with the Fletchers. I'm thinking about even getting some more Fletchers in here, but it is what it is. I definitely do not need, I was considering getting another duper, like 2 or 3 more, and now it's quite clear we don't need that. It's going to be more than enough for us. Oh, also I found a diamond. Yes, that's right, just a singular diamond. But before I do actually put the rest of the blocks back in, the drips, I'm saying it again, dripstone, the deep slate variant blocks in, I'm going to put a load of crafting tables down first. I think it'll be quicker to do that. These are just for convenience, quality of life, because you never know when you might need to craft. Just having so many of them will mean I will always have a crafting table a few steps from wherever I am. It's definitely overkill, but I don't care. We're back, and I've completely finished. So much better. I mean, look at it. I mean, yes, the roof is a bit small, like it's a bit low. And that is something I was thinking about changing, but I thought after taking out a layer of 1 block lower and realizing how long it took, and remembering how long it took to heighten this from 2 blocks to 3 blocks originally, so that I could put in these slabs, I just figured, nah, I don't want to heighten it anymore. If this was in the overworld, looking down on this would look sick. Like a lot of people would be cheering my name. I think I'd have fans up and down the street coming out for autographs. It would be a different picture, right? But the fact is we're underground, and this is an underground challenge, so the ceiling is going to be a little bit lower than what it would be above ground, in that there is a ceiling. But it's nice to see that while, yeah, that's so weird, why are they all facing inwards? Yes, look at them, they're all standing to attention. I am your leader. Your sole job is to give me emeralds, to make me rich. That is your purpose of being. That is the will you have to live. For me, all of you will do my bidding. See, it's beautiful. But it's nice to see that while, yes, we have a trade hall that is full of villagers, we have all of these empty spaces raring to go, waiting in the wings. Yeah, you might have noticed that I didn't change the ceiling in here, so there are some ore blocks, but I thought it doesn't really make a difference, and no one's going to notice, apart from the ore blocks. It's the ore blocks that make it stand out. If I got rid of the ore blocks, maybe, but the ceiling on the inside, it's not that redstone does stick out like a sword. It doesn't really matter. But the flooring was what took the longest. It really did. When you're alternating between 4 different blocks, so I have chiseled dripstone bricks or tile bricks, and polished deep slate brickstone. Why am I saying brickstone? I've called deep slate about 2 or 3 different blocks through this video. I've called it dripstone, I've called it brickstone, probably called it deep stone as well, but no, deep slate. So I've alternated the pattern, and even with the bedrock, which I thought would look horrific, it doesn't. It looks quite nice, and I did extend it out all all the way to here, and I extended the roof out. And there was someone who was saying I need to heighten the ceiling because it feels claustrophobic, but actually I feel like it feels quite cozy because I'm going to be walking down the aisles, sort of like Diagon Alley, except this is much more organized and more magical than that was ever. Look, bang, trade, and I turn around, trade, turn around, trade, turn around, trade, sweeping through here. That's what I like. And these stone cutters I need to put in one of them. So I'm thinking, as for what, oh, that's why I can't run. I've got no hunger. So I'm thinking what I'm going to have for each of them. I should, let me see, if I make a sign, or signs plural, which I can do already. Okay, so let's put some signs up. I'm thinking, here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to have one for clerics because they're going to be great for redstone, even though, like I said, we can grab redstone from underground. But I think it's going to be useful and we can have access to ender pearls, although then again, we don't need ender pearls at the moment because when you get to the end, they're pretty much bountiful. There's mainly the redstone that you can get from clerics. That's probably one, but that's probably going to be something I do later game. I load like massive amounts of redstone from the clerics because when we set up farms, and I am going to set up farms within this world, and I'm going to have to clear out large spaces within the underground or find large caves like the one I've got upstairs, then yeah, we'll be trading massive amounts of redstone. But for the time being, that's way off into the future. I think the next one we'll have masons. I think masons. That's one, and I'm going to have 2 masons because masons are going to be extremely helpful. I mean, yeah, I can grab a lot of stone blocks from underground. I am situated underground, and this is an underground challenge, right? However, I think just being able to have some villagers who I can actually grab like stone bricks from, or chiseled this and chiseled that, and I think it's going to be useful. And I can buy concrete, what am I talking about, glazed terracotta and stuff like that. I think it's going to make it much more interesting be able to get that sort of stuff from masons, and they're a great way to get experience. I think can you buy quartz blocks from masons as well, so that's always going to be handy. I would quite like to build with quartz blocks, so that's going to be interesting. Then we've got a Fletcher's here. Should I have another one of Fletcher's? That's the issue. I need to have one of librarians for sure, and I'll tell you what, I'll go to the outside one, put librarians here because, well, for obvious reasons, are going to give us a load of enchantments. But it's the last one I'm unsure about. Like, I'd like to get Fletcher's because we have so much string I need to get through. I mean, look at all this stuff. I have so much string I need to get through. However, I would also like to get... See, do I actually want other villagers? That's a good question. Like, I do... Let me think about that. Fishermen, I don't really want anything from fishermen. I mean, yes, I know I can trade string with them, but Fletchers are just a better option for trading string. And I don't think fishermen really offer me anything. Librarians, we've got one for librarians. Clerics, we've got one for clerics. Masons, we've got 2 for clerics. Toolsmith, I've already got 2 toolsmith, and I don't really... If I'm getting librarians and I have access to infinite money, it doesn't really make a difference if I have just the 2 toolsmith, because I'll be able to buy all the tools I need. And even if I can only buy 3 at a time, once they reset their trades, I can buy another 3. So I could sort of buy 6 within the day, 6 in, you know, 4 days, and I've got 24 tools. I don't know why I said 4 days. So if 5 days would be 30 tools, you know, but it wouldn't take long for me to add up the tools. And that's just from one toolsmith, right? They both of them sell pickaxes, so I could get 12 picks, like, in theory, a day, which is 24 in 2 days, blah blah, 36 3 days. You know how it goes, right? So there is that. Farmers. Now, farmers, I could get farmers, and I was originally going to get farmers because I thought, oh, farmers are going to be great for trading melons and pumpkins. Obviously, I need to get melons and pumpkins, and I need to sort out a farming area, and that was originally my plan, to make a ton of money. But now that we got the string duper, I don't really feel the necessity of getting one. Maybe I'll get some more just for some golden carrots and more for some apples. So I might put, no, I don't think I should have one full of farmers. Maybe I have a weaponsmith and armor. Again, no, they're still redundant because a weaponsmith, I only need one for the diamond sword. And armor, I've already got armor. You don't really need backup armor unless if it's to say, like, it's a backup chest for when you die, you can just go and grab some new armor you've already got. Yeah, I could. And 1 armor, to be fair, is going to be more than enough. And even then, if I am buying massive amounts of armor, it's just a flex, and I can always, I mean, at that point in the game, I'll be able to add another armor quite clearly, quite easily. I mean, if it worst comes to worst, I can just make like another off section where I can just have an armor situated somewhere else. So I think probably Fletcher's. However, I am thinking maybe I get some farmers because golden carrots. Like, you can only buy, like, let me have a look. Let me put these golden carrots I've got in here as well away. So let me see how many you can buy at once. So I can buy 36 golden carrots at a time. So that's what, 72 per farmer. Though then again, is it going to be that? I don't really think it's going to be that big of a deal if I just have 1 or 2 farmers. You know what? I think I know what I'll do. I think I'm going to have this as Fletchers. However, 2 will be farmers. I can't bracket 2 times farmers. There we go. Nice. Fletchers, and 2 of them are going to be farmers. I think that's a good compromise. So we've got the librarians, Fletchers, 2 of them going to be farmers. We've got our original one, which was our starting villagers that I needed to get OP tools, and then the Fletchers, all the rest were Fletchers, Masons 2, and then clerics. And I think that is pretty much going to be it for this video. I feel like I've done a lot. It's taken a long time, but it definitely looks the part now. Alright, bye.